Ben, if that is your real name, said, "Hey, I'd love to hear your opinions about that Netflix movie. What was it called? Castle for something? Castle for Christmas. That's it. Because of this movie, my wife is trying to talk me into getting a tweed kilt. But he's wondering what we think of the movie."
Okay.
We could talk about what we think of the whole hullabaloo about the movie, actually. And we do have some visual aids for this one, since we did have this question preloaded. So as we discuss, we'll bring up a few images for you guys. For talking points.
All right. Mac, bring Mac onto camera as well at some point. Mac watched it, Erik watched it, and I watched it.
Yep.
All of us have viddied the movie, as it was. What did you think of the movie? We watched it with Mac, did you watch it with your wife? When you watched the movie?
She was in the room. They were watching. The kids had some other Disney holiday stuff on, so I was watching it on my phone via the Netflix app.
Now, did Brittany laugh at you when you started crying at the sensitive parts, or was no? Did you tear up, Mac?
She had to keep waking me up.
That didn't happen to me at all, Mac. No, I was like the whole
Mac,
thing.
You're supposed to be working.
You did watch it with your wife.
I did indeed.
I watched it with my wife.
Yep.
So, what did you think of the movie?
I will make sure that I very loudly and clearly preface this by saying that this is our opinion, and that opinions on the movie are varied. Some people have liked it a lot. Some people have hated it, and some people were in the middle. Our basic assessment was it was awful, and I can list down all the various reasons, which could apply to any movie, regardless of setting, actually, because most of it came down to bad writing and bad editing. That being said, we had fun anyway. I think, Mac, you missed out by not watching it with your spouse because it was a lot of fun for us just to riff on. We are not Hallmark movie people. So we had a good time just kind of like tearing it apart. And there were a few parts where we're like, okay, that's cool. That's fun. No. Why did they do that? So we had a good time. And generally, we think the dog should get an Oscar.
Yes.
Dog
Angus.
was the best actor in the movie. No, Angus is the token gay guy.
Who's the dog?
Hamish.
Hamish.
The dog is Hamish.
Yes.
Best actor in the movie.
Yeah, I'm ish in your camp. I was actually surprised at the disparity of the reactions to the movie across the different groups.
It lit a fire.
In Scottish media and that kind of thing. The Scots. I saw a couple articles about how the Scots were up in arms about the accents in the movie, and the subtitles, and when she was being rude to the taxi driver because she didn't understand them, and blah 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 blah.
But they set themselves up for this because, I read some of the same stuff you did, and one of the takeaways was that one of the Netflix's earlier Twitter posts about the movie, teasing the movie, said, "This will be the most accurate depiction of Scotland ever seen on screen." Really? You're gonna set yourself up there?
Bullshit.
No, just like that's like taunting the dragon at the mouth of the cave. I mean, what are you thinking?
Train Spotting was more accurate than this one.
Doesn't it make you proud to be Scottish? It's shite being Scottish.
And my point to that was that Train Spotting was a long time ago, and the economy is much better.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, one Scottish person said, like, "What did we do to hurt you, Netflix?"
That's awesome.
Somebody else said, why not simply hire some actual Scottish actors? Or could Netflix point out Scotland on a map? And the one that really resonated with us was, of course, that's a manor, not a castle. But yeah, they basically they picked on the location, they picked on the accents especially, and they picked on some of the use of slang like dauber and walloper.
Yeah.
Now they used dauber and walloper. They gave the nice translation for those as like a working class person or an idiot or a blowhard. If you look at Urban Dictionary, you'll find other definitions.
Yeah.
Oh my.
In fairness, there were some people in that same Scottish article who loved it. Like, can't wait for number 2.
There were a few who liked it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was a similar kind of parallel here in the U.S., or at least in the Facebook groups and whatnot. There was a good amount of people who loved it. Now, I will say this. I appreciate it. The star of the film, in my not so humble opinion, nothing about me is humble, was Scotland herself. I mean, the landscape, the outdoor scenery was beautiful. That's kind of what got me through it, was being able to see that, being able to see the kilt in it.
Okay.
It's the act. Okay. You're on the money with the acting was meh, but I think the acting was meh because the writing was so cheesy.
The writing was horrible, and there were several points where you could tell something got dropped on the cutting room floor. There's a couple of things where like, wait, what? Huh? What? Why?
Like the two Frenchmen checking in the hotel.
Exactly. My wife hated that. She's like, where did the Italian people come from? What's that about? It's like there must have been a subplot that they dropped.
Yeah, that they just dropped out.
And the locket on the tree at the very end, which is obviously somehow related to the locket that she was wearing in the final scenes, which like it's a MacGuffin that got dropped. Mm-hmm.
It's a callback to the movie Annie. And her locket that her parents gave her.
My wife couldn't sleep that night, and she came up with all these ideas of how they could have used the locket as a plot device. She did say that she did think that the scene with Carey Elwes in the bathtub was nice fan service for middle-aged women, so she appreciated that. But we are of the generation that we remember him as Wesley from Princess Bride.
Yes. 100%.
And we kept freaking waiting for there to be a scene where you could throw in "As you wish,"
yes,
and
just
it never
a nod.
came.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. No, but it's as far as it served its purpose, meaning it's a cheesy Hallmarky kind of rom-com for the holidays. In that way, and only that way, it has succeeded. Is it, would I recommend you rush out and go buy a ticket? No. If you like romantic comedies, if you like the Hallmark Channel and those type of things, and you're not put off by the sus kind of writing, then you'll enjoy it. It's fine. There's kilts in it. It looks great.
Yeah, I would say it. Or if you're of a kind who doesn't do rom-com movies, but you have a partner who is like you, then Riff tracks it. We had a good time. We had a really good time watching it because we just, like I said, we kind of tore it to shreds.
Yeah. Well, even if you don't like rom-coms, but you like kilts and your partner likes rom-coms, great. Then watch it and enjoy it for different reasons.
Yeah.
No matter how hard I find, no matter how hard I search, I cannot find Dun Dunbar. Or what the name of the castle? No matter how hard I look in this book of castles, Dun Dunbar is not in here. So no matter where you live, if you own a castle and have bought one for Christmas, have a Merry Christmas.